Hi guys, good day. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Tife here again. If it is your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you're not subscribed already, or if it's your first time here, you're welcome to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel, share this video, like, turn on your notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about adultery in Nigeria. What is adultery? Proof of adultery. Is adultery punishable here in Nigeria? Note that this is not a legal advice. If your partner has committed adultery or you are suspecting them, please seek proper legal advice. This video is not a legal advice, it's just educating you on what adultery is. Adultery was defined by the court in the case of Abuchi against Abuchi as a consensual intercourse between two persons of opposite sexes, with one party married to another person other than the one with whom the intercourse is being had. Pay attention to some of the keynotes in this definition. Any other thing apart from intercourse is not considered as adultery according to the definition given in this case of Abuchi against Abuchi. Another thing is opposite sex. So same sex intercourse may not be classified as adultery by virtue of this definition. That does not mean that you should now go and saying, okay, since that is not what the definition says, I can commit adultery with somebody, with my fellow woman or my fellow man. That is another crime on its own. However, is adultery truly a crime in Nigeria or not? In Nigeria, we have what is called the Penal Code and the Criminal Code. Now, the Penal Code is the one that governs the northern part of Nigeria, the northern states in Nigeria, and then the Criminal Code is the one that governs the southern part of Nigeria. In the northern part of Nigeria, adultery is a crime. It is a criminal offense to commit adultery in the northern part of Nigeria. However, coming down south, the eastern states, the southwest, adultery is not a crime. It is not an offense to commit adultery because our law does not make provision for adultery to be a crime. So here in the south, adultery is not a crime. It is only a ground for divorce, and that brings us to the Matrimonial Causes Act. Now, the Matrimonial Causes Act governs statutory marriages, but then there are other types of marriages like the customary law marriage and the Islamic marriage. Those are not governed by the Matrimonial Causes Act. Basically, if you are married under the Matrimonial Causes Act, even though the criminal code does not criminalize adultery, it can be a ground for divorce. If you are married under customary law, you cannot dissolve your marriage on the basis of adultery. By virtue of Section 15, subsection 2b of the Matrimonial Causes Act, a marriage can be deemed to be broken down irretrievably if the respondent, that is the person committing the adultery or the person they are bringing to court for the layman, just so that you understand, if the respondent has committed adultery and the petitioner has found it intolerable, note the keyword intolerable, to live with the respondent, then it can be a ground for divorce. If your husband or your wife has committed adultery, you find it very hard, very intolerable. For some people, they will say that it is a deal breaker for them, for their partner to cheat on them. So if your partner cheats on you, commits adultery, and bring an action in court and tell the court that you found it intolerable to live with this person, and so you want to break off the marriage. According to Section 31 of the Matrimonial Causes Act, if you are bringing a petition to dissolve your marriage on the basis of adultery, it must be shown that you have not condoned that particular act. So if your partner or your spouse has committed adultery and you have tolerated the person, you are living with the person, you are forgiving the person, and you're like, oh, don't worry, I forgive you and stuff. You cannot come and dissolve that marriage on the basis of adultery because you have already condoned the act. I find this somehow, but I mean, that is what the law says. So those of you that you keep forgiving your partners, they cheat, you take them back, they cheat, you take them back, you're like, it's not a deal breaker for you, and then later you find it's very intolerable to live with the person. You cannot now come and say, oh my lord, that time I was drunk. Right now I'm ready to do the right thing. So you have to be very careful in some life decisions that you make. Also, according to that Section 31, you can claim damages for adultery, especially if you as the petitioner, you did not condone the act, and it has to be within 3 years from the date the act has occurred. How can you prove adultery? Adultery is not just a mere assertion. It is not just words of mouth that, oh, I think my partner has cheated on me or has committed adultery. How can you prove that this person has committed adultery? So it is not enough to say that, oh, my spouse hangs out with this person. Oh, they're always texting each other. They're always hanging out at ShopRite. They're always at ICM or something. You must prove, there must be direct or circumstantial evidence showing that this person has committed adultery, to show that there was actually the act was done. So it is not enough to say that, oh, you saw me walking with your wife, and then you feel like because we're working together, we have committed adultery. You have to prove that there was sexual intercourse between the two of us. How can you prove that? Is either you were there physically, or you have a video evidence, or there is another eyewitness who can tell that yes, I saw them doing the act together. You must see them, the details, the place they were, the hotel or the apartment or the house they were, the act, everything. The details must be on point. It's so that it is not just a mere assertion that, oh, I think this person. You must know your onions, do your investigation very well. Another thing is pregnancy. So if let's say the woman in a marriage, the wife has committed adultery, if the woman gets pregnant for someone apart from the husband, then you can say that, okay, this is an evidence or childbirth. So if someone gives birth for your husband, obviously if you are statutorily married, your husband cannot validly marry someone else. So if someone gets pregnant for your husband, then you can prove that adultery has been committed as long as you are married under the act, under the Matrimonial Causes Act. Another thing is sexually transmitted diseases. This one is very tricky, but then it is also a way to show that your partner has committed adultery. If you can prove that, okay, I have not stepped outside of my marriage, and within so period I had sexual intercourse with my partner, and then I contacted this particular sexually transmitted disease, and it is medically proved that, okay, it is sexually transmitted, and you're sure within yourself that you have not stepped outside of your marriage, you can bring an action for dissolution of marriage on the basis of adultery. Another way is admission and confession. If the partner just says, okay, you know what, I did it, I stepped outside of the marriage, I did this, they can apologize or not, but that is between you and your partner. You know, I stepped out, I'm sorry, all this one admission, just for the person to admit that they actually committed the act. Now, for the co-adulterer, the person having sexual intercourse with a married person, note that you can be joined as a party in a petition for divorce. So if the person is claiming that their ground for dissolution of marriage or their reasons for dissolution of marriage is adultery, they can join you as a party. Just come and explain your part. So you have to be very careful, because I feel like it's a very shameful thing for someone to allege you of committing adultery with their partner, and then they join you to the suit, and then there are details of everything. Some people even have pictures, some people have video evidence of these people doing the act. That is all for today's video. If you have any questions or you have any experiences you love to share, please let me know down below in the comment section. I'll be willing to learn and also provide answers to your questions. If there are video ideas you want me to film, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll be willing and available to film them all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.